feel like days. Only been days, but it feel like months.
Sanbonani Dumelang, hello. My name is Malwande and welcome to my channel. It is a Wednesday evening. I'm putting on this bonnet as well as my skincare arm wristbands. Let's get into my evening routine. So I'm just going to show you step by step how I go about my Wednesday evening routine, which is exfoliation night. Later on in the video, we will be discussing what glycolic acid does, its benefits, pros and cons, why I'm using the one I'm using, my journey with it, as well as the reaction you can expect, what you must know about glycolic acid, and so much more.
I wanted to call my pastor and say, I don't think I got it in you. But I said, let me first ask you to step back. Even when you're going through what seems like a hard time, my husband is trying his best to just see how.
Now listen, daughter, pay attention, pray and listen, hear your father. These lies they told are so familiar, they will haunt you, they will kill you, keep you hostage, king will heal you. Before him, adore him, he will give you everything. Come and take your can't keep going back to what I used to know. But please hold my hand as I go down this road. Can't keep going back to what I used to know. Lord, please hold my hand as I go down this road. Can't keep going. Instead of the changing, it's making me better. I'm turning a new thing, it's making me stronger. Yeah, yeah. Christ in my life for him, good. Yeah. Christ in my life for him, good. Yeah. Ooh, wow. I can understand you're a perfect man. Got the whole world in your hands, but you still reaching out for me. Ooh, wow. Why you love me too? I'm nothing like you. Opposite of holiness was what I was, but until you. Till my soul land, couldn't see why. Held my hand high, cause you see I can't see you see me. I'm one stop, cause you keep me. And now I'm better, I'm better. No longer what I used to be better, better. It's making me better. I'm turning a new thing. It's making me stronger, yeah, yeah. Christ is in my life for him, good, yeah. Christ is in my life for him, good, yeah. I'm good, 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 I'm good. Hey yo, he said that he will never change, and he never changed. He remains the same every single day. Yesterday.
Okay, now that my skin is done, it's glowing, it's well taken care of. This is a routine that I do 2 times in the week. So I started using glycolic acid, I want to say 6 months ago. Basically more than 6 months ago actually. I initially started off using this glycolic acid, this one. I started off with this one. I used it until the bottle was finished. It was a 10% glycolic acid and boy did I purge. I went through a purging phase that felt so terrible. But after doing my research, I realized that I was not having a reaction. I was indeed purging. Now, what is purging? Purging is when you get a breakout. Primarily, it happens with whiteheads, or at least with me, it happened with whiteheads. I got a whiteheads breakout on the areas where you would usually have breakouts. So if you were getting a random pimple in an area where you usually don't have a breakout, my sister, you're probably having a reaction and not a purging, okay? So I was having whiteheads on my forehead and my cheeks, which are areas where I usually would have acne problems. Why did I start using glycolic acid? I felt like I needed to add an exfoliant to my routine to assist me with getting rid of the pimples that I was still having quite often. And currently it doesn't really happen much. Yes, I had two here, hence I have these dark marks. But oh yeah, and I have one on my forehead that's currently active. But you know, now it's just I'll have one here, one there, every now and then. Unlike before, 7-8 months ago, where I was chilling with just pimples everywhere and very visible dark marks all over my face, which now has drastically reduced. And I think adding glycolic acid to my routine definitely played a role in that. Obviously, you saw that I'm also using alpha-arbutin, niacinamide. And yeah, again there I eventually landed up on fundamentals, but I did try the ones from the same brand as glycolic acid that I started off with. So what is the purpose of glycolic acid? The purpose is to target your texture, to help you with texture, make your skin smoother, and also assist with reducing pimples. If I can find a more detailed definition, you will be reading it here on the screen at the moment. That is the purpose of glycolic acid, and that is why I added it into my routine. So when I initially started off, like I said, I was using 10%. So I started off using it 1 day a week. Then after 4 or so weeks, I bumped it up to using it 2 nights in the week. And you have to, it is a non-negotiable. You must ensure that the next day after you've been using glycolic acid, or basically for all the days of the week since you are using glycolic, you've got to make sure that you use your sunscreen. Also, try to avoid being in the sun, direct sunlight, for prolonged periods of time, you know, because we're trying to clear dark marks, and if you are chilling in the sun, you're only making it worse. And also, using an exfoliant does make your skin more prone to sun damage and more sensitive to sun exposure. Oh, so definitely do keep that in mind. So since I have switched to the 5% one, I did not get another purge from the 5%, and I assumed it's because I went through it with the 10% one. Then my skin recovered, but then that bottle finished. Then I got introduced to fundamentals while I was in Johannesburg. I went to VRX store and I was like, you know what, I've seen fundamentals before. I think it's time I give it a shot. And turns out it just made more sense for my budget as well. So I went with that one, and it is a lower percentage of glycolic acid, which I think I actually enjoy way more than the 10% one. So do I recommend her? Yes, I do. I do recommend her. Now, what I don't like about it is the runny texture. It is a water-based serum, which is great for people with oily or combination to oily skin types. Perfect. Or if you even have sensitive skin, water-based serums are your friend. I just don't enjoy the application process of it, because literally, like you saw, I have to put on a spot and rub it in immediately or pat it in immediately. Otherwise, it will be drip station on my face, and that is just not the spirit that I want to live in. That is not the skincare plan I have for my life, okay? So I did definitely feel that difference, especially because I was coming from the 10% one, which was an oil-based serum and was therefore much thicker. But with that said, water-based serums do absorb into the skin much quicker. I don't have to wait 10 minutes for the glycolic acid serum for this one to dry down before I can move on to the next step. 2 minutes is more than enough. 1 minute to 2 minutes, it's enough. It's dry and we're ready to move on, which is perfect, because also, who's trying to spend an hour doing skincare after a long day of work? Okay, no, not me. So yeah, that is the impact of glycolic acid in my particular routine. I am going to continue with it. This is still just my first bottle, I think, and I'm not sure if you can see, but it's round about here in terms of how much I have used. So I still do have a bit to go. So I will finish this bottle and then reassess how I feel about it. Potentially we'll come back on here with an update. But for right now, glycolic acid definitely has been a game changer to my skin routine. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. I will catch you in my next one.